Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Doom Eternal. We are, in theory, taking a... Oh, hold on a second, we have new mission challenges. I was about to say we're headed on the way to this priest, but I guess we're not in the same mission anymore. I thought we'd go back to the hub in between, but we have new challenges. Okay, so, find a collectible, find the auto map station, kill 3 demons with a single frag grenade, and I'm assuming that's only going to count the one from our grenade launcher, not the one from our shotgun, so... We're going to have to use the non-frost grenades at some point here. Okay, I think I'm ready. I have 6 weapon points. Should I have 6 I should spend these, right? Let's see. What do I want to use them for? We don't really use the full auto on the shotgun. I do use the micro missiles quite a bit, but this doesn't really upgrade the things about the micro missiles that we use. We still need to actually find the mods for the rocket launcher. So I guess the heat blast is maybe the most sensible. Yeah, sure. Let's charge the heat blast a little faster. Okay, and remember we're still trying to get meat hook kills for our super shotgun mastery. We need quite a few. And then also, how are we doing on this sticky bomb thing? Okay, we're most of the way there. Wow. I mean, technically that's true. We are technically just barely most of the way there. Ow. Is this thing trying to flank me? No, okay. There he is. I think it would be a good idea for us to ammo up here. I think we're low on some stuff. Alright. Oh wow, that didn't actually kill him. I was expecting him to die from that. Why am I so bad at shooting people with this rocket launcher? Come on, just get closer. There we go. Was that a good idea? I don't know. It was fun. I'll give it that. Okay, I think I killed the Mancubus. Super Shotgun solves all problems. Alright, we're gonna try to get one of these meat hook kills on this guy, because we gotta start working on this. No! It is not enough. You gotta hurt him a little bit first. You know what? I'm tired of you. Done with you. Okay, there we go. That worked. We got there eventually. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty messy. It's a non-ideal version of that outcome. Yeah, that's good. Let's just punch the controls of the train in half. There's no way that's going to have any negative outcome.
The Hell Priest's position is stable now, and his guardian is somewhere in the facility ahead.
Okay, yeah, if I was trying to hide from the Doom guy, and I owned a place like this, this is definitely where I would try to do it. So we got less than 1 full bar of weapon point up there in the upper right from that engagement, which makes me think that I'm working below par here, right? It's probably the case that you can get... Oop, I missed him. There we go, that's what I needed. Actually, we're gonna need a little bit more than that. Just tap him. Nope. I was trying to just hit him a little bit. It's really hard to hit them with the plasma cannon without accidentally killing them. Alright, hold on a second. There's some health over here from that guy. This dude is a coward. Ow. As soon as I say that, of course, he runs up and punches me directly in my face. Well, that was a bad idea. You should not approach me while I'm holding the gun that you're weak against. Okay, hey, we did it. We got an achievement. I don't know what I'm unlocking by doing those. It's probably XP towards cosmetic levels. This is extremely wicked, the thing that's happening here. Alright, pretty obvious way forward. I guess I ought to take a peek at the map and make sure we're not missing anything really obvious. So there's a secret ahead. Okay. Just keep going toward the objective modifier, or objective indicator for now. That's not high enough. I'm gonna need to start that jump from a little higher up. And I don't actually know how I'm gonna do that. Here's how I'm gonna do that. Alright, well. I like the air movement a lot. It feels quite good. Alright, cool. Weapon mod. What do we got? Nope, sorry. Alright, we haven't taken a mod for our rocket launcher yet. Mouse 2 to detonate rockets in the air could be useful. If the weapons from the lock-on burst do full... Or if the rockets from the lock-on burst do full damage, this could be a really good way of starting off against Mancubi. Yeah, let's take this one. And then it looks like one of the upgrades is called Quick Lock. Hopefully we'll get that down to a reasonable speed. I'm feeling a little bit of buyer's remorse on the beam thing, the beam secondary for the plasma rifle, because of how extremely long the lock-on time is, to say nothing of the amount of time it takes to actually kill them once it's locked on. Alright, Pinky will charge us. He's got heavy front armor, but he does not like to be shot in the tail. You know, like a Saiyan. Okay. I'm just going to get my super shotgun out. Just a feeling I have that it might be useful in the near future. Alright. Nope, if you shoot them in the top half, they do die immediately. There we go. That's one. Those guys are easy enough to deal with. Come on. There we go. I didn't even need that. Also, I gotta remember to use the damn flamethrower. I should be at full armor all the time, or flamethrowing people. Either one of them is fine. Come on, charge. You know you want to. Aha. Ooh, he turns around quickly, though. I was trying to flamethrower him before the blood punch, and I just kind of pressed them at the same time there. Didn't really work out. Oh, I need that. I think part of the problem I have with the flamethrower is that I'm not good enough at actually watching the cooldowns in the corner. Like, there's so much happening in the middle part of my screen, right? That's what I'm... Oh, there's no bullets in that. Okay, you know what? Come here. I probably shouldn't just be using that. Here, let's try... That's the same gun. Let's try this one. If anything, it's a little bit too effective. Okay, I think I actually hit 2 enemies with that there. I caught the little zombie a bit. We're getting to the point now where we're powerful enough that a swarm of little enemies like this, powerful enough and good enough at using our toys, that a swarm of little enemies like this poses a much lower danger to us. Alright, I managed to get 3 enemies with it that time. Oh, right, I'm supposed to be trying to get a kill or 3 kills with my frag grenade. I should probably just switch this back over to frag mode. Oh, interesting. It looks like the frost grenade was on cooldown, and when I switched over to the normal frag, it is not on cooldown, so I think they might have separate cooldowns, which is a thing I did not realize was the case. I'm trying really hard to get that arachnotron with the rocket launcher here. Okay, I need something. You need to give me something. There we go, that's something. Ow. Yeah, that's my bad. I slowed down, man. You gotta keep that tempo going. I think I've talked before on the channel about how I like it when games are really hard, but I don't like the thing that a lot of games do, where they try to demand perfection from you. This is especially common in, difficult games from Japanese developers, I feel like. I want a game that wants me to play incredibly well, that wants me to do incredibly difficult things incredibly well, like 70% of the time, but has some room for me to screw up. I'd much rather prefer that over a game that wants me to do pretty hard things pretty well 100% of the time. And I feel like Doom is really landing in that sweet spot for me. It's like the way the systems are set up. Oh, I just barely dodged that charge. I heard him coming in my ear. Well, he turns quite effectively. Come on. Yeah, you really don't get a lot of time to execute that. Ow. Well, the good news is, even if he hits you, you still have some time to pick up the kill. Ah, shoot! I didn't get the flamethrower on the Revenant. Okay, I need this real bad. I missed my blood punch. Oh no! We're gonna buy ourselves a second here. Let's just jet up. I'm gonna switch to. That's not a very good rocket. You know what? You come here. I need bullets from you. And then I need to get the hell out of here, because I'm very low on health, and that Pinky is right there. I need to switch to the rocket launcher. Ah! I was trying to shoot around him. I'd like to get up on a thing, please. I was trying to shoot around him, just like get an opportunity to catch some of these smaller enemies with the rockets, because, you know, they drop health even when you don't glory kill them. Come on, there we go. But he was way too close. He charged right into me, which it turns out is it's a dumb strategy, but it's effective. Because he can take a rocket to the face a little bit better than I can. That Revenant's on glory kill mode, but I'm not going to be greedy for a change. Also, I charged myself directly into a wall. Alright, we should have shotgun ammo. We have lots of shotgun ammo. Bam! That's real good every single time you do it. Okay, you. That felt very cool. You're getting blood punched. Not because it even made sense to do it, just because it, like, I was aware that my blood punch was available. Get grenaded. I'm just trying to get myself in the habit of using all my weapons. There you go. That's what we needed. So you really don't get that much. I really thought a single solid super shotgun to the turret would be good enough. You really don't get that much armor from any single use of the. I missed. Let's try to get that lock-on thing happening here. Very effective. Very effective. I had the lock on there, and then I just sat with it for a second because I was unsure. You're gonna have to give me some bullets. Because I know I'm out of rockets, but I'd really like to have rockets right now. Okay, that's pretty good. Take that. Oh, you didn't die. Okay, I think that thing's down. Stuff's going all right. We're managing our large enemies pretty well. There's a Mancubus over there that I'm going to throw a grenade at. I was really hoping that was going to do a little bit more damage to his arm. Did you see that? Did you see me use a blood punch in a situation where, like, the blood punch actually kind of made sense? I'm so proud of myself. Alright, I need... yeah, I got some more ammo. Oh, I think he actually went down. Nope, I was wrong. Okay, that was effective. I'm happy about that. That is not the enemy I was trying to meat hook, in case you were wondering why I seemed confused there. Boom! It's very good. The combination of the meat hook and the slowdown is just, like, super fun. Okay. I'm doing better with the flamethrower. I'm still not using it enough. I need to get in the habit of tapping that button pretty close to its cooldown. Which means, in part, that I really need a better sense of the cooldown. I wish that I could, if this were like an MMO or something, with a nice modifiable UI, I would have a thing that puts a great big icon in the middle of my screen every single time that that cooldown comes up. We're gonna... oh no, never mind. I was gonna say, we're gonna get ourselves another meat hook kill on this dude, but fine, we'll just run up on him. I mean, honestly, it's probably reasonable to chainsaw him. Where'd he go? Should really refill ammo on some stuff. He just disappeared. I know you're out there. I'm intentionally not picking up that flamethrower, or that chainsaw fuel. Alright. We're gonna get this guy. We're gonna wait for that chainsaw fuel to fill up and give us that free pip, and then we're gonna grab that one, and then maybe at the beginning of the next combat arena we can find a chainsaw fuel in the room and do a triple chainsaw on something big. It's like make our lives a lot easier. Ooh, what was I saying? I'm very absorbed in the combat. There's not like a... I know it's super fast and twitchy, but there's a level of intellectual decision-making that goes on here that I feel like you don't always get from a shooter. I'm having to actually formulate strategies on the fly, and it's very pleasant. It's a good, strong feeling. What do I want to have out here? Let's walk around with the super shotgun out. We gotta meat hook an awful lot more dudes. Okay, so Codex, what do we got? The Doom Hunter Base. The UAC's polar cultist facility is built around the ruins of an ancient Argenta settlement constructed over 60 million years ago. There's a lot of, like, extraneous plot here. I'm usually a big read all the things guy, but a lot of this stuff is not super related to, like, the story that's going on in the background is, I think, intentionally complex to a level where you're like, do I really need to know all this stuff? Because it does a good job of putting you in the position of the Doom guy, who, as we all know, is just like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to blow everything up. Okay, so apparently there's a battery there, and there's a free life back there that I did not get. Okay, well, I want this battery. Is it just sitting here? We'd have to get underneath to grab it? Where can I get underneath? That might be up ahead, or it might be further back, or it might be right here in the dead center of the room. Yeah, could be. I don't want to say it definitely is, but it feels like it just might be. Alright, excellent. After we put this guy away, I'm sure we're going back to the base. Alright, I don't think I want to, like, go back or anything. No, like that... What is that? That's the auto map. I mean, that's up on another floor. I'm not going to worry about that right now. We'll get there. Yeah, for right now, I think we just go forward. And we do that by riding this thing because it's super fun every single time. Yeah. Could I have just zoomed in the window? It doesn't matter. Probably there's actually glass there and I would have been stopped.
It was not easy to find an opponent worthy of the Slayer, but I think you will be impressed.
I don't know, man. Frustrated, maybe. Impressed feels unlikely. What do we... Okay, we're going toward the map. Terminal right now. Well, that's going to get one of our weapon challenges, then. Oh. Okay, you know what? He's got me. I'm a little impressed. It's super weird that that's a challenge. Because it's literally, like, it's unmissable. You have to enter the room that it's in. And they put it in a place where if you try to go to the door, it will be in your vision. Okay. Weird. It's a weird challenge. Well, I guess let's do it. Just armor me up real quick. That's always a good sign. Sick flying coffin. Also always a good sign. Oh, but I was going to say, I remember now. That's part of the jumping. They want me to jump and climb on the sick flying coffin with the skull fires and the... This game. They get me. They understand where I'm coming from. Am I supposed to jump just away, or... I kind of thought I was supposed to ride it somewhere. I thought it was going to be like a fun... Okay, if I'm just going... If all I'm doing is going from it to this other coffin, I see. Am I allowed to walk around out here? Can I just like... Ooh, whoa, okay, hold on. Very slippery. Oh, invisible wall. Just put like a real wall there. Why are there so many invisible walls in this game? I would say that's like my one criticism so far, is that there's just a lot of invisible walls, and I never like the way that feels. I don't know that it's necessarily a valid criticism. I'm not going to say, oh, developers, you should never ever have one of those. I kind of believe that, actually. Never mind, I'm totally going to say that. It just feels... It feels weird. It feels amateurish in a way that the rest of the game does not. Oh, hey! How you doing, man? Here, have this. Oh god. I made the mistake of feeding one of them, now they all want some. Alright, you're getting meat hooked. How many super shotgun shots does it take to kill a Kakuni? 3. Okay. Good to know for killing them with the meat hook later. So I made the mistake. Don't do this, generally speaking. Ah! Right in the ass! How are you still alive, my friend? I was about to say, I made the mistake of checking out the Steam forums a little bit. I was just curious. I was like, how are people receiving the game? Because I am having a hell of a time. And that's not even, I'm not even doing a funny, he said hell because the game's about hell thing there. I'm just really enjoying myself. And I saw a bunch of... reflexively tried to reload my gun there because I play a lot of shooters that aren't Doom. I was just curious how people were feeling, and there seemed to be a lot of people who are like at least in the Steam forums, who are weirdly mad about the weak spot stuff, and in particular things like the grenades and the Cacodemon, because they're like, now there's only one way to use each gun, and it's like, well, you don't have to do that. You know? But it's kind of funny how if you give people an option like that, they start feeling like it's mandatory. I'm really liking the color coding here for guidance, so you see the green lights are always the way forward. But I wonder... Game developers always use green and red for critical things, and I totally get that, because there's a whole human eye psychology thing going on there. Oh, I kind of thought this was going to just pull back up. Green and red are like, oh, hey, ah! They made the wall visible, at least. It just put up an energy wall in front of me. I get that, but, like, green-red colorblindness is the most common kind of colorblindness, and it's like... We're talking about something like 12% of men. It's just super weird to me that that's... Oh, I see. It's not just that there was a wall there. It's that there's a thing that's actually projecting walls at me. That's kind of... That's a cool idea. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a shooter before. Just dynamic walls being projected directly at the player. Alright, you get the fire. Well, it's really hard to tell if enemies are on fire, isn't it? You survived. I don't think you should have done that. I don't think that's going to make your life any better. Alright, I'm unimpressed with that dude. You don't want your first act as a new enemy type to be you getting shot once and then punched clean in half. It's embarrassing is what it is. Oh, hold on. Yeah, we did it. Love my suit points. Alright. My blood punch is recharged. We're at full health. I don't really need to be doing these glory kills. But it is enjoyable. So should I be trying to get up on that? There is a thing up. Alright, well. It looks like we're going to have to get up on that to go forward anyway. Ooh, don't be under the middly parts. Oh, I remember what I was saying. Pursuant to that, like, doing well 70%, like, doing extremely well 70% of the time thing. I think my favorite thing about this experience so far has been that you can, like, screw it up pretty royally. You can be inches from death in full running, screaming, oh my god mode. And then you play well for 3 seconds and you're back at full. You know, you get a couple of decent shots, a good glory kill, a chainsaw off, and all of a sudden you're back together. Can I jump? I guess I get high enough. I was kind of looking for another platform to jump to. I might be able to make that distance. Dash, dash. Yeah, jump, jump, dash, dash might cover that. Yep. Is it a toy? It is a toy. He's adorable. Actually, I would unironically love one of those. Pretty smart. Pretty smart for for id and Bethesda to put a bunch of toys in their game that basically are like Funko Pop scale, so that it would be really easy to make their own Funko Pop line. You know, Funko Pop adjacent line. You don't want it to actually be Funko Pops, because those people are going to get all the money. You want to make your own thing. Just, you know, similar enough that the consumer gets confused. Alright, tell me about this guy that we've been hunting. The Dark Viceroy to the Chaos Throne, Rannoch has long served as one of Hell's emissaries on Earth, laying the foundation for the planet's inevitable invasion. In secrecy, Rannoch has prepared the Hellgate, awaiting the omen of the Sixth Seal, that which signals the Age of Rapture, which will cleanse Earth as foretold by the Maker prophets, and so on. Rannoch worked closely with Olivia Pierce during the development of the original Mars project. Okay. And since her death has taken total control of the UAC, this is a slightly different tone than the previous paragraph. His promises of wealth, power, and everlasting life have corrupted the organization from within. It was fine before. Now it's bad, though. Absolving its employees of their moral conscience, accelerating the sacrifice of Earth in exchange for the lure of Argent Enemy and the promise of undying union with Hell. It does not... As a person who is living in the year of our Lord 2020, I would like to point out that it does not take a lot to absolve human beings of their moral conscience. Most of them are really eager to just throw it away. Deek Rannoch previously served the King of Argent Dunur as a sentinel priest. After the betrayal, he abandoned his homeworld. There's a whole cosmology of stuff going on here. In the end, we're going to take this guy's head off and mount it on our wall, so I'm not too concerned about his personal history. Well, it feels like we ought to touch the rune thing. Give me a rune. I want... What do we want? What's the third one? I don't need faster glory kills. I honestly think this might even be a downside, because I like having a moment to catch my breath. Further glory kills is actually great, though. Speed boost after glory kill. Sometimes I run into a real dangerous position to get one. This is probably a good idea. The death blow thing. Enemies already remain staggered for quite a long time. This will mean it's so... Okay, you know what? We're going to take this. That's going to be our third room slot. Or rune slot. And then I'm going to just, like, try to use the flamethrower all the time. The flamethrower button doesn't do anything at all when it's not ready. So I'm going to try to get myself in the habit of just mashing it a lot in combat. Alright, what happens when we shoot this? Okay, it descends the wall, but temporarily, right? One has to assume. Well, maybe not. Maybe it just stays down there. Okay. So, why isn't the close spike wall closing? I'm really worried that if I don't understand the timing mechanism, I'm going to jump out there and get spike walled real good. What do you do? Are you a button? You are not a button. Alright, I guess let's just go for it. Nope, see, now it's happening. I'm nervous. I'm gonna go for it. Okay, it's safe to be on here. You don't have to jump off of here quickly. So I'm gonna take a second. Am I in a place with a... Okay, no, we're doing alright on secrets. I should probably... You know what I should probably do? I should probably not refer to the map at all in the first time through the level. Let's just look around, get what we can get, and then... Later on, if we get in trouble, we'll, or when we come back to the level later, we'll use the map. Alright, so we're in a kind of an awkward position here. I don't really want to use my, my chainsaw because we have 3 fuel. I'm going to try to use the heavy cannon a lot on the approach because I don't really care about the ammo for it so much. You know, I might just mega chainsaw that mancubus, though. Oh, looks like everybody decided I'm important now. Ah, I got one of my rockets eaten there. Trying not to use the chainsaw yet. Okay, you're down. Okay, 1 kill, not sufficient. Or 1 rocket, rather, not sufficient. Okay, easy enough. Apparently that performance was worth a weapon point, the game feels. Can't say I necessarily understand that. I just... You know, I saw it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Whatever, it's just a laser. How much damage could it really do? And in my defense, I was kind of right. It really wasn't that bad. Alright, you know what? How about this? How do we walk around with this? That's not the door. So we came in there. I guess we're going this way. And look, it's a mancubus. Where am I jumping to? Ah, you. Okay, I can see how that could be a little tricky. Think this is the right timing? Yeah, look at that. We did it. Now we need to find... Aha. We did it. Ah. You know what? I'm doing it. That wasn't that cool. I don't want to, like, trash talk the chainsaw or anything, because obviously it's a wonderful tool. But as far as chainsaw kills go, that one wasn't that neat, and I feel like the ones that cost 3, damn it. I feel like the ones that cost 3 chainsaw fuel should be super cool, right? I was kind of hoping he would drop the shield so I could do this thing. There we go. Just trying to build up those kills. Want my mastery. Speaking of, how am I doing on that? So I feel like we've been putting a lot of effort into it. Quarto de and it was full of mayonnaise. Oh, I probably shouldn't tell that story anymore. Well, hopefully he won't sue. Alright, sorry, I got off topic. What are we doing here on the screen? Oh, right, Doom Eternal. I love this game. Although we've come in a kind of a strange moment here in the middle of what appears to be a reverse funeral. Ah, well. I'll be lucky to look so good at my reverse funeral, you know? I was talking to somebody recently about this game, trying to explain what it was that I was into about it. And as a person who doesn't play a lot of video games, and so I couldn't just describe it as, well, you know, it's like this shooter, but faster, or whatever. So I had to actually like try to come up with a reasonable metaphor, not for the experience of the gameplay itself, but for what it feels like, you know, what it evokes in me. And what I settled on was, it's like trying to sight read a piece of very fast piano music, but you have to deduce what each note is, and also there's a bomb in the piano. I think that sort of gets at both how the game makes me feel and also what I really like about it. It's just like, there's a lot of decision making going on. It's fast, but it's not reflexive, you know? Which I think is a thing that action games that are all about speed sometimes fall into, especially things that like the splatformer genre. And, you know, obviously when I say that, I'm talking mostly about the combat arena stuff, because obviously we're not moving super fast here. But I do like all this traversal stuff, too. I think that the jumping puzzles have a really nice feel. There's just enough exploration to keep the combat from becoming tiring, which I think if you were to have it be non-stop combat arenas, it would. You see a little bit of confusion there. There are multiple directions that have green lights in them. It's not super clear to me whether the green lights are just like, this area is traversable, because I had been interpreting the green lights as an indication of the critical path, right? If you see a green light, that's the way forward. But in that place, there were green lights leading us in two different directions, so obviously not. Also, I don't know how you're supposed to find that without using the map, but you don't want to overly rely on the map to just show you where all the secrets are. You want to do some exploration of your own. But how are you supposed to see that there's a path further down the wall when you're on the wall? You know, given the way the camera is pressed all the way into this surface when you're grappled on. I think that secret is maybe a little bit grand of a word for the thing that we just saw there. It was just sort of like at the top of the critical path. I bet a lot of people get that one. And look at this, these demons are ostensibly fighting each other, but the second you poke your head out there, that Arachnotron has you. Now we get this this moment of consideration of strategy before we realize that only two of these guns actually have any ammunition in them, so I guess here we go. Nope. You might have a little bit too much mobility for your own good in this game. It's very easy, especially in these like narrow platform sections, to just kind of like accidentally hurl yourself off the world while attempting to dodge. Man, it is like, it's a little, I like it a lot, but it's a little gross. Also, you kind of have to wonder who built this place and why is it like this? Why are there flying coffins everywhere? Do these have utility? Or was this whole facility designed just to mess with the Doom guy so that he would come in here and assemble the boss? Because the whole process of this part of the level, right, is you doing things that unearth and then assemble the big scary flying tank enemy. Like, if you, what was the Hell Priest's plan if you like saw all this stuff and you're like, nah, this is too much, I'm going home? This is just a lot of really gratuitous glory killing. You know, watching the movement in this area, though, I do have to say, I'm on the record as being anti-invisible wall. I don't like it when there's an invisible wall. It always feels like it kind of jumps out at you and shouts, hey, this is a video game, in a way that I find kind of jarring. But with the amount of mobility options they give you, almost falling into a pit there. With the amount of mobility options they give you, what would the visual design of the areas have to look like if they weren't going to give you, if they're not going to just use like huge actual walls everywhere? Right, like in order to actually box you in with 2 jumps and to double air dash, and especially the Rune that makes you able to maneuver around corners and stuff in the air, you could kind of just go anywhere you want at any time, unless they made every level a straight line with huge gaps of death, like death pits on both sides of it, or they just embrace the invisible wall from time to time. And I guess it's kind of a silly thing to be upset about the video gaminess. I don't want to say immersion breaking, because I think the concept of immersion as it is used in that way is kind of silly in video games anyway. People complain that all kinds of things are bad because they break my immersion when they were never actually immersed in the... this is pretty... this is a pretty specific whine of mine, but people don't use that term in a way that's useful already, so I am loath to use it myself. But like, what's the sense of being upset about a thing being too video gamey in a game where there are one-ups? You know? Like, is it reasonable for me to be mad at invisible walls if I can actually just jump over to a place and pick up a one-up? We've already accepted that the place is unreal. Also, wow, way over the line. Not the explosion, obviously, who cares about that? But you can't just go touching people's belly buttons, Doom Guy. That's beyond the pale. I don't know. It's just, like, this game is so awash in, hey, it's a video game already. And I mean, like, yeah, this menu's a great example of that. Maybe we all ought to just accept it. Also, that is not... Again, not a very well-hidden secret. I guess it's a good thing for some percentage of the secrets not to be all that well hidden, because it keeps you in the mindset of looking for things. Even if you've gotten too drawn into the traversal and the combat, and you've totally spaced on the fact that, hey, this game has hidden stuff all over the place, some of them are placed in such a way that you will see them from time to time, and you'll go, oh yeah, I should, like, look around or something. Or just look at my map that tells me all the stuff. I had to say, these some of these Praetor points, I guess that the reason that these things cost different amounts of suit points is because some of them are a lot better than the others. We're looking at the ones that are of low value here. We and the game both agree. But boy, some of these Praetor suit perks seem a lot better than others. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't noticed a single barrel explosion. Like, in the whole time I played the game, I don't think I was ever like, oh, hey, there's a barrel there. Let's blow it up to great tactical effect. Also, I'm a little surprised that Frostbite here is a thing you have to spend points on, because it's that's such a common thing in video games for a frozen enemy to take extra damage, and that's why you freeze them, that I think I played with it. I played with that assumption. You know, I'd already been like, okay, we'll freeze him and then we'll just really hammer on him. And it's a little disappointing when you do that and it's clear that he is not dying any faster than usual. And then, of course, you know, if there's a secret in one of these weird little bays, well, then there might be a secret in the other one, because why else would there be a weird little bay here? Like, what is the architectural purpose of that thing? Apparently, the enemies also know how to operate the doors. It really is challenging to wound a guy, but not kill him with the plasma rifle. When you get it on somebody, it does so much damage so quickly. I said the demons also know how to operate the doors, which was based, you know, very rooted in the assumption that the Doom guy knows how to operate the doors. Maybe not actually in evidence here. For example, you know, they go to such lengths to give you so much mobility. I'm kind of surprised there's not more of this kind of stuff where they trap you in a very small space and make you try to figure it out without having the power to simply circle strafe all of your problems away. is a strategy that we see getting relied on in this footage quite a bit. You have to respect the attempt to chainsaw. We didn't even know what the enemy was going to be yet, but you just stand there, you know something's going to spawn. You just stand there and get ready. Well, that looks pretty, I don't want to say final, but that looks pretty significant. We just finished all the weapon points. You gotta be a little nervous that it might be boss time any minute, but of course you haven't finished the, finished constructing the boss for your enemies yet. It really is just like a truly bizarre plan. Also, speaking of truly bizarre, listen to this music. Hold on a second. When we get back outside the pause menu, I think there are vocals in this music. No, of course we're in a different part of the song now. Listening to metal is something of a skill you have to develop. In particular, the vocals of certain styles of metal can be very difficult to understand for the uninitiated. This is where I gently suggest that perhaps because I like metal music, I am superior to those who don't. And I don't actually believe it, probably, you'll never know. Listen, it's just a funny joke, guys, if you're upset, unless you agree with me, in which case I'm dead serious. Yeah, like you pick up an extra life and there's a sick little guitar riff, and it sure is, to use the parlance of our times, a video game-ass video game. And here, right here, look at all the artifice. Why would there be coffins flying here? So I don't know, maybe we ought to just accept the artifice. Things are game because they are game. I really do like all the jumping puzzles and stuff. It feels video gamey, but in a good way. I think a lot of times when people say something feels video gamey, they mean it as a bad thing. Also, what is the purpose of having... It's just like a whole pyramid out here that is constantly covered in electricity? Also, this area is a nightmare. It might not be totally clear from the footage, although maybe it's getting clearer. Oh god. Well, that's an embarrassing way to lose a life. It might not be clear from the footage, but the area that you can stand on that walkway is actually quite narrow. It looks like it's a couple people wide, but if you aren't like basically all the way on the edge, you are taking damage from the lightning. And that can be especially frustrating, paired with the fact that sometimes you get flung off to the side by like a projectile pushing you, or by you deciding to glory kill a thing that is flying in the air next to the walkway instead of just shooting it from the safety of your solid footing. Well, at least it starts you right up here, huh? There you go. If it is unsafe to move around, perhaps the super shotgun will solve all of your problems from exactly where you're standing. Nope. Too dumb to just plant your feet and fight. Alright. You can get that overload without having to use the plasma rifle if you just pour enough damage into the shield. Oof. 3 health. You can sense the panic here. Fortunately, the blood punch is a good solution to a lot of different kinds of problems. And no ammo in the plasma rifle. There you go. Is there any problem that a couple of shots from a shotgun grenade launcher can't solve? Unfortunately, the answer is yes, this whole electric pyramid situation. Listen, you can hear it. Also, check out this sick vert ramp. If only Doom Guy had remembered to bring his skateboard. But yeah, there are totally lyrics in this song. I just don't know what they are. It might just be sounds, but also it might be secret satanic lyrics. Should be very appropriate for the genre. Nope, I've got... How many times can one man fall off of the ground? Alright, well, the green light is over there. See, I guess this right here is pretty good evidence that the green light is not necessarily forward on the critical path, because this is clearly not forward on the critical path. And then, of course, the frustrated wall punch. Well, maybe we can just make a hole in the wall to catch on to. I dare say someone's been playing a little bit too much Deep Rock Galactic. The thing is, the game is actually quite clear with its symbology in these areas, right? You know what kind of stuff you can punch and break through, even if there are like a couple of degrees of clarity on the "you can punch this" symbol. Yep, it turns out critical path actually back over there where you were. The green lights led you horribly astray. And also, behind you, some kind of nightmare, some kind of great nightmare yet to come. It might be easier to do the traversal and jumping puzzle nonsense if the music wasn't building so much inappropriate tension right now. It's like, well, what the hell? Where do we go? I was already over there. I think the core problem here is falling off of the platform, which makes it difficult to assess whether the way forward might be up on the platform, because you can't see up there anymore because you're too clumsy to have stayed on it. Here, that's a really good example of like how much you can't afford to move off of the edge of the platform before getting electrocuted. Feels like they could have extended that just a little bit more. Boy, these things really do require some assembly, don't they? Also, it didn't even really seem like the Doom guy did anything there. In a lot of other situations, he's, like, pressed a button that seems important, or... That time, the factory was already assembling the terrifying Doom Hunter, but they just waited for him. They wanted the Doom guy to see it happen. He's got to know what's coming, right? Once a race of beast-like hunters, the Doom Hunter creature was known to Sentinel warriors in ages past as lethal stalkers of the Metal Age. Listen, whatever age the Doom guy is in, that's the Metal Age. There really is an awful lot of lore in this game. I wonder what their expectation was of, like, how many people were actually going to read all this. And now we know, because the map has told us there's some kind of switch around here or something. The floor does open. But where? Yep, that's good. Shoot fire at the walls. Listen, it says low ammo at the bottom of the screen. You got years and years of shooters training you. When you know the ammo's low, you reload. Oh, hey, look at that. We figured it out. And we got ourselves a Funko Pop. It's actually pretty decent strategy on the part of the developers. Just get you ready in-game for the toy line.
Welcome, Slayer.
It's getting real MST3K in this hallway here. Alright, just real quick, before the boss fight, do we have any resources we could spend to get stronger? Turns out we can't remember which points do what. That does seem useful. You could stay in the air for an awfully long time if you could refresh your air dashes with a glory kill.
I thought you would appreciate the sentry I chose. The great Argadon hunters from the Telos realm. though long thought to be extinct, created to hunt only the Slayer and his Night Sentinels during the Unholy Crusades. Some improvements on their design have been made. Enjoy what is undoubtedly my finest work.
You know, you have to appreciate this guy's sense of improvements. He's made a lot of good decisions here. Is there anything in nature that can't be made better by covering it with chainsaws and rocket launchers? I mean, it really is. It's a deeply silly but very impressive looking enemy. It has a shield and also a crazy rocket sled. Destroy the shield with the plasma rifle to briefly disable it. Destroy the sled to permanently disable the shield and its missiles. Okay, easy, right? This couldn't possibly pose any kind of a problem. You die, you almost die, instantly. And then despite the presence of a real enemy, you somehow managed to use your chainsaw on a random zombie thing. So yeah, I mean, you gotta appreciate the way the game makes it clear to you when things are not going well. It's never a mystery. Oh, this is perhaps inadvisable. Do you really want to charge the thing that has a big energy chainsaw for an arm? Is that the best use of your weaponry? But like, look at this. Once you've unlocked all the movement stuff, you have a variety of weapons to use in a variety of situations. You just have so many options available to you every moment of combat. And the greatest challenge becomes not figuring out what to do, but just kind of like remembering to use them all. Then again, maybe you could just always use the plasma rifle. It does seem to get the job done. If only it had a little bit more ammunition. I guess that's a thing that you can control, right? You can just create or suit for additional ammo. Also, I don't know why you would even bother firing a frost grenade at the boss. That's not going to work. You have to have played enough video games to know that's not going to do it. This is the eternal curse of status effect items in every video game. They would be super powerful if they worked on anything actually dangerous. So instead, they are completely useless, because they only work on things you don't need them against. Less true here in Doom Eternal, where everything, even the things that are comparatively much less dangerous, are still very, very dangerous. So we can see here, the Doom guy somehow managed to punch the rocket sled clean off of that enemy, which is extremely cool. And now it's just a matter of surviving the rest of what's happening here. And unfortunately, it seems like there's not a lot of pickups of value left down here in the lower area. You see that cognizance is like, well, if I wanna find the stuff I need to survive this fight, maybe I should explore the rest of the room. But it sure looks like that flamethrower shot connected, right? But the boss didn't drop any armor at all, and didn't stay on fire for long enough for it to be like, long enough for it to seem very useful. I guess the regenerative strategies in combat are really meant to be used on the constantly spawning lesser enemies. Yeah, you know, kind of like this. And you can see the shotgun use, or the flamethrower use, still definitely not frequent enough, but more frequent. It's getting better. Once again, trying that thing that's obviously not going to work. And then the most beautiful sight in all of video games, an enemy glowing for a finishing move. got the boss encounter on the first try. You have to imagine he's feeling very good about himself right now. Until...
We are not done yet.
This is such a good design for a fight, I think. Making you believe... I made fun of the idea of assembling the boss for your enemies over the course of the level, but it really does do a good job of driving home that, like, this is a big apocalyptic enemy. You need to take this really seriously. And so even if the fight itself is not super difficult, is easy enough for you to say, complete on your first try, you come to believe that thing must be the end of the level because it's so climactic, right? And then to have you defeat him and then just get immediately dropped into an area where you have to fight two of them at the same time is such a good swerve. Like, there's a lot of really impressive game design in this game that goes beyond just the moment-to-moment experience of the actual fighting gameplay, which is, I don't want to say it's beyond reproach, but it's, like, obviously very, very good, right? But there's so many other things they're doing right. So many cleverer things that are not quite as obvious that they're doing right. Even the tone, the way they man, I'm just getting caught up watching the footage. I'm kind of forgetting what I'm talking about. But like little bits of tonal stuff, like the fact that you break into the first Hell Priest's chamber in that first level and just immediately pounce him and cut his head off without, like, you know, he's a Hell Priest and he's made out to be the objective of the level. You're expecting it to be something big and sort of the no-sell of the conflict, and you just grabbing him and twisting his head off immediately. And then kind of playing with it. Like, it's like there's a real goofiness to that moment that the game doesn't go out of its way to go, hey, right, we're being funny right now, right? I think that stuff is just like this. The whole game is such a triumph. What a good and wonderful thing. And obviously, two of the super heavy elite enemy, slightly more difficult than just one. Although fortunately, there are a lot of areas around here that are not wide enough for them to be able to maneuver side to side very much. So even somebody who's, you know, perhaps not so great of a shot anymore in his old age can still find a way to consistently connect with 80% of the plasma gun ammo. You know, except out here in the open, where obviously it is not quite that thing. You just gotta find him in these hallways, that's all. Oh look, surprise, surprise golden opportunity. Maybe you want to do it in a hallway where you have a slightly longer line of sight. You might think that staying back is a bad idea when fighting an enemy that has a giant rocket launcher. But being up close is so much worse. It's so much worse. Also, the enemies totally lead you, and they're much better shots than I am. I'm not sure if there's really an easy way to tell which one of the hover tanks is which. You have to be thinking there, in that case, while you're stripping the shield off of that one guy. Gee, I sure hope this is the one that I already did a bunch of damage to. Then again, knocking his health bar down to 0 doesn't actually end the fight anyway, so it's not like there was only going to be one of them after that point. God, it's so much damage so quickly, and if you ever get near them, you just get absolutely pummeled. I mean, it's a compelling, very kinetic design for a fight. Like, I really enjoy games that allow this strategy of sort of like, I've never been a cover guy. A lot of games are designed now with cover being the main sort of way that you mitigate incoming enemy damage. And none of that stuff has ever felt good to me. I always want in shooters to be able to utilize a strategy of just never stopping. Always run, always punch, always shoot. And I love the fact that this game is not just designed to allow that, not just facilitating it, but like almost requires it. There's no way you could find a spot and hunker down in a fight like this. The enemies are too aggressive and you are too fragile, and your entire survivability is based too much on you doing lots and lots of damage all of the time. Alright, I mean it's... You're so close to being phase 2 on both of these guys. All you have to do is find a moment where you feel comfortable actually fighting the real enemy. Yeah, the shooting didn't start immediately, but that right there was a flame belch followed by a whole lot of heavy cannon shots that resulted in 2 entire armor shards falling off of the boss. And each one of those is what, like 2 points of armor or something? Seems like the flamethrower is maybe just not functional against the really big, scary enemies. Which is a shame in a sense, because like obviously this kind of situation is where you would most want one. Or where you would most want the flamethrower to work. But at the same time, you know, there's going to be an infinite stream of tiny, weak enemies, so I guess it's not a big deal. Plus, it gives you lots of opportunities, not just opportunities, but incentive to do things like fly over an imp's head and then hit him with the meat hook and super shotgun him in half. You wouldn't want to lose those moments. It has, at this point, been quite some time, though, since the bosses took any damage. Just maybe as a strategical error. God, the hit sound of the blood punch is really something. Is he desperate to just kill the enemy without having to hit the glory kill, since it seems like it might be very difficult to do. And it sure seems like these enemies just won't die without being glory killed. And also, they only want to go into glory kill mode when you're very far away from them, unfortunately. I think the guy's got himself stuck on that cable. Alright, finally. Just keep hacking until it goes all the way through. This right here is what progress kinda sorta looks like, except for, you know, the part where you're at 6 health. Yeah, that's...
Just getting started.
Listen, they can't all be winners. If they were all winners, you would never get that sensation that you're getting better at gorily murdering demons. And we did see that rocket launcher shot disconnect the rocket sled, even though the shield was still up on one of the bosses during that last fight, or during the last life. So, you know, it's reasonable to just do a little bit of testing. Maybe we can determine a way to get this thing done without having to go through quite so much rigmarole. Like, yeah, look at the amount of damage that did. God, this music's good. I had an experience recently where I was, I don't remember exactly what I was doing. I was trying to play a game with somebody online, and I was like, no, I'm going to put on some of my own music. Because in general, video games, especially multiplayer type video games, don't play music that is the kind of music I want to listen to when I'm playing a competitive multiplayer video game. At some point, we all decided as a society that, like, electronic music was the music of video games, and it doesn't always work for me. It doesn't get me hyped up in the right way. So I was trying to put on some metal to listen to during the thing, and somehow I got my Winamp duplicated and accidentally cued and played the same track on 2 instances of Winamp, but like separated by a second. And I discovered that I think a lot of what I'm looking for in music is just like density of sounds, because it turns out that 2 metal tracks playing over the top of each other like really works for me. That's just like even better metal. What if there were 4 bass drum pedals, right? Boy, there are just missiles flying all over the place. It is a miracle. It is a miracle. There we go. That thing hasn't happened yet. I was gonna say, couldn't be. Oh, and then this. Listen, I understand where the game is coming from. Sometimes people get frustrated and they're just like, oh, screw this section. I just want it to be over. I'm not having fun here. But you can't help but this is entirely ego on my part, and it's something I really probably just need to get over. But I can't help but feel a little insulted when the game drops the golden leaf or the sentinel armor on you, and it's just like, I don't know, man, it kind of doesn't seem like you can do it. Do you want a little bit of help? If anything, it only redoubles my resolve to do it without the power-up, which is probably not like a healthy place for my brain to go. Some real desperate SB fragility there. No, I need to believe that I'm capable of beating the video game. So much of my self-worth is tied up in this, you know? I really do like the way, though, that on subsequent attempts, you start to, like, form the map of the power-ups in your head. You can see going for that armor significantly earlier, trying to spend as little time as possible without extra protection so that we don't get an accidental early exit from the fight. And you solve the combat puzzle, just like one step at a time. And so we've got a reliable method now for dealing with the hover tanks. We break the shield and then get them with the rocket lock on, and that does like 60% of their health. If you can throw a blood punch in there, it's so much better. Unfortunately, you are constantly receiving a lot of pressure from a lot of angles. So even with a plan, sometimes you gotta improvise for a minute in order to survive. Also, sometimes you realize you don't have any missiles left, because you have been irresponsible and not chainsawing guys as often as you could be.
Such a pity.
Desperate for some armor. I find that I have a really hard time looking away from the center of the screen, and so I don't really know that I'm in trouble, survival-wise, until it gets bad enough that everything is flashing red. I have considered getting one of those eye tracking systems, because I think it would probably be interesting to see like exactly what parts of the screen my eyes spend all of the time looking at. Interesting and probably hopefully a little bit illuminating for people who watch the thing. It's like, why isn't he reacting to the fact that he has 14 health? Well, it's because he spent the entire time never looking at his health, and he literally didn't even know that fact. Because, like, watching this now, without having to play it, there are things about what is happening that are so much more obvious to me than they were in the moment. Also, I've made a lot of value out of the grenade launcher attachment for the shotgun, but I'm starting to think that this rocket lock-on thing might be the best mod we've purchased so far. It takes a lot of ammo to use it right, You don't really get that many rockets back when you chainsaw somebody, so you have to be like, a little bit cautious with it. But it is really powerful for just dropping a huge amount of damage on an enemy all at once. And boy, that's a thing that we have a lot of situations that call for it. Also, that shield projection enemy is super cool idea. It's weird how it feels like he says, "Excellent, smash the heretic." Right after we do some smashing a lot, it's kind of hard to tell which side he's on. Maybe he's just watching all the blood and gore and having a good time, just like the rest of us. You know, in the end, hell priests and demons, they're just like us, right? An arachnotron has 4 legs and a giant brain. I have 4 legs and a giant brain. The arachnotron's giant brain doesn't seem to help it make good life decisions or do anything intelligently. My brain doesn't help me make good life decisions or do anything intelligently. We really are nearly indistinguishable from one another. And you can just hear, you can hear it in the movements, in the aiming. You can hear me going, "Oh god, oh god, oh god, please just let this work, please let me get away." Almost died 3 different times in quick succession there. But you know, there's a lot to be said for almost. Right there, another good example of me not really knowing the information that's in the corners of the screen. I just ran up to that guy and hit chainsaw because I was like, I don't know, we picked up chainsaw fuel recently, I might have 3. Those guys are unpredictable and difficult to kill when they are up close to you. They really leap around pretty erratically. Okay, we've spent about 90 seconds, somewhere between 90 seconds and an hour, running away from the boss nonstop. Maybe it's actually time to stop and fight again. Except that I can't seem to find him. One big benefit of the heavy cannon is that it does damage gradually enough that you are very likely to be able to get your glory kills off. Something we should probably be using it for more often. I keep pulling it out when it's just me and a couple of zombies, but really, even in situations like this, that's a strong purpose for it.
The beast, does he not seek enhanced power? Gifts to aid him in his noble conquest. Perhaps in return for my...
Guy, what kind of enhanced power do you think you're going to be able to offer him? Did you see what he just did? And let's be honest, if you had anything more, you would have thrown it at him, not saved it to give it to him. Also, I'm just now realizing that the things that the Doomslayer is throwing at them to be like, your soul is no longer protected, are basically just the same discs that have the prayer suit points in them, right? So there may be a bit of lore there that I'm not 100% following. And hey, this isn't bad for a traversal of the level where we didn't stop to look at the map every single room. You know, a couple of times I just went on without it. Missed a sentinel crystal though, that hurts. That's alright. We'll come back. We already plan a second tour through a bunch of these, right? And also, we're getting experience on our battle pass to unlock. I think the thing we're working on now is an icon for our multiplayer profile, maybe? I think they could they could make that stuff a little bit clearer. I have no idea what that whole system is about. I think it might just be multiplayer cosmetics.
Our system is being corrupted.
This game has come far enough.
I will have her transmission removed in a moment.
Despite the loss of the priests, Earth will fall, and my people will survive. I will answer the humans' prayers, reward those that believe.
This hub was of Maker design. She knows the systems well.
The final priest will be moved to a more discreet location, so our work can continue without further disruption.
The third Hell Priest signal is no longer visible to us. There is a 41.3% increase of demonic activity at the nexus of the initial invasion. That is the largest gore nest on Earth. I will set the portal coordinates for the super gore nest now.
Super Gore Nest sounds like a video game that I would probably enjoy quite a bit. Or an album that also I would probably enjoy quite a bit. Alright, well that's going to have to be it for us for today. Thank you all for your patience in this time of technical difficulties. Come back next time tomorrow for an episode where everything works flawlessly. And we'll see you then.